it just the two of us?
It's just the two of us for Triangle of Sadness. This is the first.
We should have 3 because triangle.
Oh yeah, that would have been good. Nicole watched part of this, but she did not stay for the whole thing. I'll give her thoughts later on. I'll give her.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to know at what part she was like, "Oh hell no."
It was more like she was doing something else, and she was doing something else, wasn't watching, and then stopped to watch part of it. So she actually
okay.
Yeah, it was.
Let's bring her in on it then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She actually stopped to watch her. That's usually not what happens. Usually she.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so we're almost a triangle. Yeah,
Triangle of Sadness is a 2022 film by director Ruben Östlund, who I think his most famous movie over here is probably Force Majeure, the movie where there's the avalanche and the dad is going to run away, but then nothing happens, and then the family has to know that he would have abandoned them. That's the whole premise. That happens in the first 20 minutes. Not really.
Did you just spoil the whole movie?
It's in that's kind of the inciting incident. So that's kind of
okay.
I think they remade it with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and other guy.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Downhill. I didn't see that, but that's based on that.
Really? Because interesting. I was going to watch that before we talked, not Downhill, Force Majeure before we.
You haven't seen Force Majeure? It's very good. Same style.
That's why I wanted to see it so I could see this guy's, what his thing is. So
he made The Square as well, which I have not seen, but it's I don't know. People like that.
He likes geometric shapes. Apparently,
he does. This was up for 3 Oscars. Didn't win any. This is our first one. We're recording post Oscars. I know we've had episodes that have come out since, but this is the first one.
Right.
We're recording post. What was it? Best Picture, Director, and Screenplay?
Screenplay. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. That's nice. No wins.
And it won the Palme d'Or. I mean, that's the thing.
The Palme d'Or. Yeah. Gotta love the Palme d'Or. Carl and Yaya, a couple of influencers, are invited to a luxury cruise ship alongside a group of out-of-touch wealthy people. The situation takes an unexpected turn when a brutal storm hits the ship. 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, 68 with the audience, 63 Metacritic, 74 IMDb. 6s and 7s, so
yeah,
lower than the average Best Picture. Usually Best Picture guys are much higher. I'm surprised this was, after watching it, I'm like, I'm surprised this got nominated. Maybe it was just because the director has been up for stuff before.
It's possible. Plus the Palme d'Or.
Not because it's not. I didn't like it. More because this isn't the kind of movie that I was surprised. This isn't usually something that I would think would be up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen Triangle of Sadness, this is on Hulu, I think now. That's where it is now.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. Hulu, streaming there. 2.5 hours. There's the ratings. There's the stuff for it. And we are going to spoil it here now. So it's broken up into 3 parts, as a triangle is. The first part is Carl and Yaya, who are the main characters for 2/3 of the movie, the first and the third. And they're models, influencers, they're dating. The Yaya is more successful than Carl, but insists that he pays for stuff. They have like a gender roles thing, and I'm gonna get you to love me. I want to be a trophy wife. They have that kind of conversation. The middle act is part 2, the yacht, where they go on the yacht along with an assortment of rich, wealthy people of varying types, and they have you're just kind of watching them happen. There's not like a very big driving narrative force at this part. It's just like, oh, they're there because they're influencers, and everyone else paid hundreds of thousands, millions, whatever dollars to be there. And the stuff starts going wrong on the boat. Not like in like a suspenseful, thrillery kind of way. More of just matter of fact, stuff's not going well on this trip. And the third act is the island, and I guess we'll get to that later because that reveals things about the rest of the movie. So, Mama K, what'd you think of Triangle of Sadness, Best Picture nominee?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this is like the 3rd movie, I think, of this kind that we've been on a podcast about. This is very Glass Onion, very The Menu.
Yeah,
kind of
as I said, it was
That's
the trilogy of 2022 movies about rich people bad.
Yeah, it's a triangle of movies, if you will.
Of sadness.
The triangle of sadness is the small area between your eyes that is representative of when you're sad, and it makes that little, the double lines, the little 11.
Is that real? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard it called the triangle of sadness. I've heard it called like the 11, which means that you're either angry, or you're holding, too much energy in your face, or you've got resting bitch face, or what.
Are you saying the title of this refers to the bridge of the nose? Is that on purpose? I've never heard of that.
They said that in the movie.
So. Oh, I don't remember that part. When did they say that part?
It was in the very first part when we meet, I want to call him, it's not Chad. What's his name?
Carl.
Yeah. When we meet Carl,
the first third, honestly, is a little pushed out of my head because of the second and third acts. Yeah, there's so much more going on.
Yeah, the first third is basically, it's long, but I kind of enjoyed that part myself just because it was a little indulgent, I think. And so Carl's a model, and he's trying to go for this campaign, and they talk to him about the triangle of sadness on his face, because I don't know what they're going for in the campaign, but they keep going back and forth between, okay, you're doing something for, like an Abercrombie kind of thing, and now you're doing something for, I forgot which, it was a big Balenciaga maybe, or something like that.
They do a lot of Balenciaga versus something else in this.
Yeah, so you're either really happy and joyous, or you're, it's like Benetton versus, Wall Street kind of look. So they talk about his triangle of sadness. Anyway, we've talked too much about that already. So when we meet them, and we meet her, and she's an influencer, and she's very an Anna Delvey type. I don't know if you saw that whole situation or know about Anna Delvey, but she's basically
it's not my world.
The one she doesn't want to pay for anything, and I don't know that she really has any money. I think she spends money on things that don't matter, and also she gets gifted all kinds of things, and that's how we get to the second part, which is like the meat of everything. And then the third part is if you stay for that, then you get a lot of that's where the gristle is. So that's where I'm starting with this
meat
movie.
And then the gristle. Interesting.
Yeah, don't you think?
Gristle has negative connotations, and I don't know if I would put that towards the third part of this.
Gristly movie is like it's well, okay, let's say it's like the frosting and then the
frosting.
cake.
Okay, I can give you that.
You like frosting?
I like all that. So what's the beginning is the fondant piece that's like sticking out.
Nobody likes that.
Well, that's my point. I mean, I don't know. People like the first third of this movie. I didn't care. I didn't get on board until we got on board of the yacht, and then stuff started happening because it was. I
like the development of their relationship, which is important in the movie. All the way through the movie. That's a thread that is important through the movie. But yeah, I liked it. You're being brought into the world that's self-indulgent, and then all of a sudden in the second part you are like knee deep in nothing but self-indulgence. So
you'd like force majeure then. For the first third reminded me of most of force majeure because it's so that's so just two characters in kind of quiet rooms and scenes, which I usually like the couple of characters. He's so reserved though. He's got people are so they're much more distant than the average character. Even the more boisterous ones are. There's something very like stark and distant about how he makes everything. Everything feels like far away.
Yeah, except for a couple of characters, especially in the second part. I don't find them to be stark and distant.
So the second part, all right. Well, so we're on this boat, and the second part is kind of
yacht.
We're on the yacht. Yeah, it's like I was looking, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like cruise ship, but like a small cruise ship. I guess that is what a yacht is. I never really thought about the logistics.
The small cruise ship.
I guess so. Who are the people there? There's the Russian oligarch, the guy who he sells shit. And his wife, and then they got an elderly couple there. They sell like weapons.
They've made all their money, in the defense industry. Clearly.
Yeah, they sell their arms manufacturers. So they sell grenades. One of their most popular items. Yes. There's the wheelchair lady who can only say the one phrase. Ichtenbergen. What's he say? He says the same thing over and over again. Einvengarten. You know, people are screaming.
Anyway, it means in the clouds.
All right. Well, she's in a wheelchair, and she can only say that because of a stroke. And then there's the tech millionaire guy, and then there's these two, the Yaya and Carl. Who else? Is there anyone else who's like the sister, the gross, too much over the top sister of the? I think she's the sister of the oligarch.
Is that I couldn't figure out what she was. I thought she was the mistress at first.
She causes all the problems. I thought she was the sister.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, okay.
This is the problem.
She does
causing woman, another Russian passenger. And there's the captain, who is we don't really see him for a while. We just know he's getting drunk in his room, and later on he's going to come out. He's going to be the most recognizable face in the movie, Woody Harrelson, as the Marxist sea captain. The whole middle is just kind of watching their conversations, and this is what I'm talking about. Distant. Once the dinner scene starts happening, things start to like. You're just kind of passing from area to area. There's not like a strong thread of like driving force. You're just watching things get slowly worse. The storm gets worse. Everyone's seasickness and eating the bad fish because of the wait staff or the cooking staff had to leave the thing. But the way you just watch it slowly kind of happen, and it's very gratifying. I love the middle of this movie.
Well, I like it. We forgot to mention that one of the key players is she's like the chief hostess, or I'm not exactly sure what her.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
called, but she's important in the movie.
Yeah, like stern Jane Lynch character.
Yeah, and so while we're watching this, what we're basically watching is how self-indulgent all these people are, all these rich people are, and the crazy things that they demand of the staff to do, and how that ultimately backfires, and how having a captain of a ship who's not really captaining the ship and there's a second captain too who's not very good at his job. That's when everything goes awry. It's like there's a storm that comes in, the food is bad because they had to wait because the one person said everybody needs to go for a swim now. We're all the same. That's what she says. That's what like ticks off this whole thing. She says this to one of the stewardesses, that we are all the same, and that's not true at all. So they're sealing their own fate at that time. If you're watching this movie, you know something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah. So I like this too. So the whole time in my head too, I'm comparing against the other two Rich People Bad movies that we had this year. And this is, out of the three, this is my favorite of the three. I like this way better than The Menu. I think this is closer to The Menu in tone and way better. It says something much stronger, I think, than The Menu tried to do. And then The Glass Onion's a little more silly, but this is I liked this more. You got the captain here in the middle. Is he trying to do this? Is he trying to just let this all go and fall apart? Like in The Menu, Ralph Fiennes is driving the action and wants to get revenge. Is Woody Harrelson just like, I'm gonna get drunk this time, and I know the food's bad because of the whole thing. That's why he gets the burger at dinner, and then he just is gonna keep drinking with the Russian dude and let the ship go down because fuck these rich people. I'm a bad socialist because he does this whole thing. I'm a Marxist. And I am on this $250 million yacht serving all these assholes. I'm not doing what I say I believe in. And so does he just let it all go down because of that? I thought maybe that's what he was going for.
Well, maybe, but it feels like that he's done this before, when
he's sank a $250 million yacht before with all these people, with important people.
No, but he is like, this is not the first time he's been the drunk captain who can't even come to dinner. Person, because when the stewardess is trying to get him out of his room, she is not acting like this is a strange ordeal. She's acting like this is something she has to do all the time to try to get him to come and be with with the clientele. And so I don't know what sets it apart. Is it the conversation? He has a conversation over the microphone so everyone on the ship can hear, with the Russian person who is the biggest capitalist on board. And then you've got the American captain who is the Marxist. And so they're having this ideological, back and forth.
I like when they get drunk enough where they're just yelling quotes at each other for probably
I love
5
that
minutes.
too, actually.
They just like, I got one, and then they just keep going back and forth.
Well, and then they start looking them up. Like he's on his phone looking up the quote that he's trying to like, that best suits his point that he's trying to make. And I really wanted him at some point to be like, say one and then have Eleanor Roosevelt at the end of it. But
Eleanor Roosevelt would have been a good one.
That's my own favorite. That would have been my own favorite pice. But
one of the top Letterboxd reviews on this one was, I just want to see the podcast of those two. I don't even want to watch the rest of this. I think I said that when we were doing You People. I was like, I want to listen to the podcast about the culture. I don't want to watch the movie anymore. I get the movie already.
Yeah, and the thing is like, this is a long movie, but I felt like, and that whole piece of this went on for quite some time, but it wasn't, he did it just right. Like it was just the right amount of them going back and forth. And, it was, the editing in this movie, I think, was really key because there were things that lasted a long time, but I didn't feel like I was tired of seeing them. Scarily enough when there was all the toilets backed up, and so now there's shit all over the place going up. It was like, watching The Shining with the blood out of the elevator, but it's coming down the hallway. The shitting. I was okay. I didn't think I was going to be okay with that, and I totally was like, this is hilarious, and this is the comeuppance that these people deserve. The sad part about it is they have a huge staff on this boat too. It's not like it's not like Below Deck on Bravo where there's like 8 people that are your clients, and then you've got 12 people on board.
No, that's why I said it's like a cruise ship. It's like a whole. It has floors and stuff. Yeah,
there's a whole underbelly of people that are there serving them, and that's where we find our last main character that sort of gets introduced. And
into the third. She is the more.
There's also a guy who's somebody accuses him of being a pirate because we'll talk about that, I guess.
The guy goes, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that is a payoff. So second, before we leave the second part into the third, did you notice the song that was playing when the shit fountain was going off? It's
probably, but I don't.
It's called New Noise. I think the band's called Refused, but it's the song that used to always play in my high school football warm-ups before games. The first one, it was the first song every time for all middle school, I think too. All the years, it was always the first one that played before, and it's in a lot of movies like this for moments where it's like, chaos thing happens. Usually like a punk kind of thing happens, and that's You don't remember that nugget from our personal.
I don't remember that, no, but interesting.
Yeah. I like this whole. But there's again with the way it's shot is so. It lets everything breathe. There's one long uncut shot where they're just at like the top of the stairs where the dining room is, and people are one by one falling out, and the thing's rocking back and forth. The whole thing's rocking back and forth the whole time. And that was the part that Nicole came on and was watching, is when everyone starts getting sick and the boat starts rocking. That's when she stopped what she was doing and started watching. I'm like, oh, this is the part that's pulling her in right here.
Right.
This middle. And then the shit fountain blew up, and she said, see, why couldn't they just have the shit trickle out and have it be subtle, but they gotta blast the music and have the fountain go off? And then she got up and left because she was so angry. So.
She was like, no.
That's why she can't watch. It's like she starts watching something, and then when something like that upsets her, she just leaves. She's just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. This is stupid now, and I don't care about this anymore. And so she missed the third act, and that's why she's not on.
Oh man!
But then they go to the island. So a group gets shipwrecked on the island. Not everybody, but it's Carl and Yaya who were kind of pushed away in the mid act for other characters. Dmitri, the drunk capitalist Russian. Therese, Paolo, Yarmo, the ship mechanic Nelson, and cleaning woman Abigail. So you got a bunch of the rich people and the Jane Lynch lady, ship mechanic, and Abigail, who is the cleaning woman we get introduced to. And
now call her the Jane Lynch lady.
The Jane Lynch lady's the first maid or whatever. You know what I'm talking like the
Yeah, I know. That's funny. I never.
Yeah,
didn't even
it's
think
shorthand, easy to remember. Jane Lynch lady, and as they are surviving on the island, it's very clear that Abigail is the only one with significant survival skills. So she's catching fish and building fires and doing everything. And when she realizes this, she withholds some of the food, and it starts slow. Like the Jane Lynch lady tries to bring in the order from the land. But she's like, maybe out there I'm cleaning lady, but on here I'm in charge here. So she becomes captain. Yeah, she's the captain now. She's like the Captain Phillips dude, and so she's in charge now. She rules with an iron fist from her lifeboat full of pretzel rods that she uses and gets her way. And the rest of the movie is looking at this little microcosms of society. And this third act I've heard people complain about, and I'm arguing so much for this. I'm like, this is the thing the menu was missing, was stuff happening where like characters have to make decisions, and then it says something further than them just sitting there and doing nothing. A lot of these guys are sitting and doing nothing, but we understand more about why they're doing nothing, and then the dynamics change and like the leadership hierarchy changes. This is what I was looking for from the menu that I didn't get any of. I needed the social dynamics to play out.
Yeah, the middle part of the end part of this is interesting because we do get people. I mean, everybody does something a little bit more than we expect them to. The least amount of things that is done by somebody is the oligarch guy. The only thing he does is at one point he walks along the beach and he shines a flashlight so that the new quote Captain Abigail can see back to camp after she's caught all the food for people to eat. So
I forgot he even did that.
Yeah, that's like the only. Well, I was trying to pick out things that people were doing that were out of character, and so for him, that was it. That was him like, oh, okay. Because there was a scene during this portion of the movie where I couldn't watch and I had to turn the sound down. So I'm sure you can guess what scene that was. No.
You had to turn this.
The killing of the donkey.
Oh, you did? You had to.
Oh my God! The killing of the donkey, because I don't
with
know,
the rock.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it would have been. It was. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kill their. So they're trying to find food, right? So they find this donkey on the island, and the startup tech guy takes a big ass rock and goes over and hits the donkey on the head, and then the two. I forgot who it was. It was the oligarch guy and somebody else was standing there, and they're like,
the tech guy's there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is good. This seems good. This seems like, and then all of a sudden the donkey starts braying again, and he has to hit him. I don't know how many times because I muted it because animal things and people on fire. Those are my peccadillos. So I'm like, no, I can't do this.
It's not like they really did it, though. It's not like the old days.
That's not the point. When I see people on fire in movies, they're also generally not really on fire, which is good.
Well, sometimes they actually are. They just have a suit or something on.
Well, do you think they had a stunt donkey braying in the background and dying? No. So
I'm sure it was an amalgamation of things.
Yeah, I'm sure at the end there was the whole, SPCA, no animals came to harm, except for the octopus that they... I'm not going to lie, that octopus that she cooked looked really tasty. I would have definitely eaten that.
They made some of it look too good for being, like, it's supposed to be spoiled because they left mid-cook.
Yeah, not that... No, the octopus on the island.
Oh, that! I thought you meant on the ship.
No, the one on the ship looked. No, that was gonna make everybody sick. So yeah, so I didn't like that part, but the rest of it was interesting to watch. And so there's this whole piece where because Abigail, the former toilet steward, is now the captain on the island, she decides that she's going to... also what washes up on shore is a little... what is it? It's a...
Well, a couple things wash up on shore. Not the one lady
on
shore.
Couple
the one
things...
whose fucking fault this all is. Well, not really. I mean, I guess she didn't cause the storm, but she made everyone sick.
The guy's wife, the oligarch's wife.
not the wife, the oligarch's sister, or the one who washes up on the shore.
I think that's his wife.
I thought that was the sister, the one who fucked everything up.
I thought that was his wife, and I thought that's why I thought the other lady was his mistress. I don't know. It doesn't matter, though, does it? Really? I think that's his wife. Yeah. Yeah, she washes up. She's dead, and she's wearing all of this jewelry, and he's holding her, and you think that it's going to be a really precious moment, and he just starts taking off of her jewelry, like putting it in his shoe, and yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? Leave it on her? Like, I would do the same thing.
No, I had that conversation in my head too. You're not going to leave it on her, but as he's taking it off, this giant crow flies over, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what he is. Or a raven or whatever. It's somebody that's
vulture.
Yeah, it's not a vulture, but it's like a vulture. Yeah, so,
but it's behavior. Yes.
Yeah, but the other thing that washes up is it's not a dinghy. Lifeboat? It's a lifeboat.
You talking about the lifeboat full of pretzels?
The lifeboat full of pretzels and Evian water. So the first night they're there after Abigail makes fire and brings them food. The first night she invites the ladies to sleep in the lifeboat with her. Then she makes a deal because she's in charge. Mm-hmm. And so she makes a deal that she's going to now only invite Carl, who's really attractive, to sleep in the lifeboat with her, and he'll get extra pretzels and such. Mm-hmm. For
that's
that.
Right. He's whoring himself out for pretzel rods.
That's right.
Right in front of his fiance or whatever. Just whoring himself out to the cleaning lady who's become the pretzel lady.
And no one seems to. Do you think the two of them seem all that like put out by it? It doesn't. In the beginning, they have a conversation about it.
It's because she wants her pretzels, too. She gets her pretzels. She's like, you know what those cost me? And she's like, well, don't do anything like that. And he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do to get the pretzel rods. I'm like, I'm loving this, the third act.
I know, but
you literally... What do you mean?
I feel like her fight is not a fight at all. It's just sort of like, fine, go do that. Well, and in the beginning too, I mean, where he's the one who says that I'm going to make you love me. She seems a little more aloof about it.
That's back when they're on land and they're rich now. This is survival mode now, and all they can think about is the pretzels because they have nothing anymore.
Yeah, so that makes me think that she put up probably the right amount of fight for somebody in that relationship.
They both just want stuff. Like they right. want like this, they want the status, and like that's the whole point of all the whole thing. And that's
right.
And that's why it takes the extra step of fleshing out what really makes the rich people. What the menu and Glass Onions say rich people bad, but Triangle of Sadness is more interested like why is rich people bad? Like, and then it also ellipses, and you would be too, because cleaning lady, now that she's on top of the pyramid, are we gonna do all kumbaya hand holding? No, she's gonna live in the boat. She's gonna get the sexual favors. She gets the pretzel rods. Like anyone who could have the power will corrupt and take what they want, and that's why this is better than the menu with its messaging.
I think it is too. And absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? But
it's not the rich people; it's the rich it's being the rich that makes them the way. It's not like their inherentness necessarily.
Yeah, but all of these people are inherently rich. Like I don't get the feel, except for Tech Guy, I don't get the feeling any of them are self-made. This has been their lives forever.
Yeah, Shit Guy might be. You don't know what Shit Guy. Shit Guy has definitely had to get his hands dirty, if you know what I'm saying. I think.
Okay, that's probably true, but I think that. Also, being in that world of, being in the Soviet Union, I think anybody who did anything there probably had to do favors for whatever, that nothing is above board. Everything's, got
It's like that documentary where that random dude starts like selling tanks when the USSR falls, and they just have it call this military surplus. And so he just like, well, it's open to whoever, like the government's gone and there's just a bunch of decommissioned, like, military shit laying around. Then you just start buying and selling it for cheap. He did the same thing.
Yeah, someone's gonna do that, but only certain type of people are gonna do that too. I think that's a piece. Like you're always arguing that it's not the people that are the problem; it's the situation, or or it's not the politics, the economic politics behind it. But I don't think that's true. I think it takes a certain kind of person to be this way.
But because that person exists, there can never be another way, because that person will always take advantage.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I don't think it's just because, it's not. This isn't say that this isn't the difference between this movie and the others. This one doesn't say it's not the rich people that are bad, it's the situation that's bad. It's saying that once you have something, and if you're the kind of person that wants to take advantage of it, you will. I mean, she didn't have to do what she did. We're talking about Abigail now. Abigail didn't have to, like, when she was doling out food, it was egregious the amount of food she was keeping. She could have easily been like, she was doing a.
But why would you? What? But why would she? Because I mean, somebody said it there, like, we're all kind of humans or whatever, and we what'd you call her, the Jane Lynch character, she she said it to her, we all, why do you get to keep so much? And she's like, well, because I caught it. No, you should be able to keep maybe more, but you shouldn't be able to keep 20 times as much as everybody else. That's the whole what it is on the shore world. That's the reverse. All those people have all that stuff, and she's the cleaning lady back home. Now she gets to be the rich person.
Right, but what if it was a different cleaning lady from the boat? What if it wasn't Abigail? What if it was Beatrice? And Beatrice doesn't have that as part of her genetic makeup to be
maybe that's where we disagree. I think the person who wouldn't is like a needle in a haystack. They're a Charlie Bucket. They're not. They're the uncommon person. The cleaning lady we get is the average person.
I disagree. I disagree 100%. Yeah, no.
I would if I were her, I wouldn't play it as bluntly. I'd probably play it differently. I would be much more political about it. I would be like, all right, who's strong here? Who can be like my bodyguard? Like, I'd be working at from that angle. But like, what she does is not wrong. I mean, or uncommon.
I feel like it's not. I feel like that's not what the common person would do.
Well,
I feel like the common person would. Because the egregiousness of what she does, how much and how big she does it is what I'm not saying that.
But it's because she's the everyone else is so fancy compared to her, except for the one guy, the mechanic, Nelson. But everyone else is, the fancy people.
Yeah, but if she were if the thing that doesn't ring true to me is that she knows that on the ship, she's the bottom of the barrel, right? But there's a hierarchy between the people that wind up surviving. They're not all the rich people. There's the rich people. There's the ones that are there because they got there for free, which is, the influencer couple. There's the two people that work on the boat with her. And then there's her. So...
But so breaking that down, the influencer couple, you could lump in with the rich people in that they're of that status. That was a guest on the ship. You could split guest and staff, and then when you get to staff, then you're taking out Jane Lynch is like a mouthpiece, so she's like a high-ranking person. So then you only got mechanic guy and her, and mechanic guy and her are both like grunt level, but even then, mechanic guy probably still outranks her on the boat. They're probably about the same, but you know what I'm saying. So she's like the bottom of the bottom and on the ship, and now she's the only one, and she has to baby all these people, and she wants not just everything, she wants the power.
I don't think that's the everyman though, and that's where we're going to disagree. You think that's the everyman? I think at the very least she would be like, okay, I get 20 pieces of octopus to everybody else's 1, except for you, mechanic guy, who gets maybe 5. And you, or maybe 8, and then you, Jane Lynch character, you're going to get 3, just because you're not at the same level.
Do. I would be more political about it and have a cabinet. Like if I'm on the survivor on the island and I have the strongest skills of everyone there, then I'm picking the next 2 strongest and like, all right, you're my cabinet. You guys get extra bonus points or whatever, and this is how we're going to run the place. I don't think I would ever do a sex trade thing because. It just doesn't. But it gets weird because later on he's like really trying to convince her. He's like, no, I really want this. I'll break up with her for the pretzel sticks. All for the pretzel sticks. Like,
Well, yeah, but he's a weak person anyway. He's not a strong person. So I'm not really surprised that happened. I feel like he wants he needs to be needed and loved, and so that's what he felt from her. And I don't think that that's that crazy.
No, I don't think it's crazy. I think what this is this all rings more true to me than the menu did. If in my head, that's like what I was.
Yeah, I think so too. I
the
mean,
menu felt cartoony and broad, and like it didn't really like it felt like toothless. Like this is like this gets into all of the different people, and as much. You still have rich people who are mostly not doing anything. The people on the island, not super helpful other than her. You see how many it takes to kill the goat or whatever. But like the donkey, yeah. So like there's a more. This all feels much more like realistic, and I like watching the hierarchy reestablish itself on the island. And we didn't even say the little extra bit on the end. And this is take it how you will. Try to believe it if you want to. They're on a resort island this whole time, unbeknownst to them.
They're on the backside of a resort. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they had to have been here for, weeks at least. It doesn't seem like for a super long time, but I'm going to go weeks is my guess. Maybe a couple weeks, but yeah, they're on the other side of an island place, of like a resort, and who finds it? It's Abigail and Yaya, and Abigail is going to smash Yaya with the rock because they don't want to go back. She doesn't want to go back maybe to the real world. And we get Carl running through the woods, and then it like abruptly ends. I don't get why this movie ends the way it does. It ends with actually we're not on the island, and then it gives you absolutely nothing, no resolution.
You get zero resolution in this.
You don't know anything what happened. You don't nothing. You don't know if nothing. It's so abrupt. It's immediate. Like you basically find out they're fine. Period. Like there's no and then they went back and XYZ. So I don't know. No. It was a little blue balls. I wasn't a big fan of that cinematic choice.
I don't like it because part of me likes it because of that, because I think that maybe I would have rather had it ending without Carl running through the woods, because I don't really know what that does for it.
No, I thought we were gonna get like a cutscene to the world and then see what the fallout is. That would be. I mean, I don't want to interpret what the fallout is. I want to see what actually happens.
But what if it ended before that? What if it just ended with Abigail walking with the rock toward Yaya?
That's better than the running in the woods, but it's still not satisfying.
I think so too.
It's better.
I think it's better because the running in the woods to me, I'm like, I don't understand what that's all about unless, I don't know. Did you think that, so it was Yaya's idea to go on a hike, to some place that they hadn't been before. And then Abigail was like, I'm going to go with you. And Yaya was not having it. She's like, no, I'm coming with you. Did you think for sure that she was going to push Yaya over the cliff? Or that was my whole thought process, is that
I figured she was going to try to do something. And then they find the place. And then she's like, I really should do something. And that's what even more. I'm like, I want to know. I want to know if she did. Because I think that adds to the overall... Like how when they go back to the real world, what happens to cleaning lady and the rich people, and like do they go back to their norms? I think they do, but like I want to see that. I want to see what happens.
No, you can't see that. That's annoying.
He's not inviting you to that annoying.
He's not inviting you to that part of the world. You have to decide in your mind how you want it to end. Choose your adventure without the last few pages. This is like, you can't know the ending.
I think some people might not like. That was a very frustrating
part for me.
I could see people not liking the third act, maybe because they think the way you think, and that if I were in this situation, I wouldn't be corrupted by this power. I would be benevolent and fair, and like I just don't believe. Like I don't believe that. No, you wouldn't. If you could get away with whatever you wanted and had all that, and just could do it, yes, you would. Why wouldn't you?
No, I don't, because I don't think I would ever think of doing that. That's the honest truth. Like, I wouldn't think of hoarding everything like that from everybody. I just wouldn't do it. But
I would make my loyalty conditional, or my.
Well, she did. She made her.
I know, but she's just a little blunt about it. I guess is the thing. She's a little unsophisticated with it, and she's lucky that everyone else was completely inept at getting food. Otherwise,
everything.
Yeah, if they were even moderate. And that's another thing I have to believe that. But, like, because it's these specific people, that's what's different about the menu. The menu had a big, wide group of different types of people. You telling me those tech bros? Yeah, I know they're tech bros. They're nerds or whatever. But they're all dudes in their mid-20s, 6 feet tall. Like, come on. They can't do nothing. Like, they're not.
They should have been able to kill the donkey. That's what you're saying. They should have been able to kill the donkey in the menu like that. They should have been able to have a moment like that.
Yes, they should be able to show that they're growing, they're trying. They're not literally like, so I'm such a baby and rich, I can't do anything without my millions. Like, no, it's so cartoony and like extra. Whereas this feels more, I don't know, real. That's why it's better.
They're all I think they're all cartoony, but in a different way. Like the people are even Abigail. She's one note, and that note is, depending on where she is in life, she's still just one note. So I don't know about that. I'm curious to find out, since the other people were able to, get the donkey, how that would have changed, because that happened really close to the ending of the movie, and so like. Would that have changed things? Because now you have somebody else who has been a provider now that can, at least provide donkey.
What's interesting about the others, though, is they don't seem. At no point do I see that anyone else is like as put out by the scenario as our leads. Like, we're following Carl and Yaya the most because. One, we followed them in the beginning, but like, because they're the ones who are stressed by this the most. Like, they're the ones whose relationship is taken apart and it's shown to be surface level and skin deep. And if things were different, then things would be different, kind of thing.
I think
the others just kind of seem like they're going for it,
Yeah, but I think the difference in the characters is that those two characters are still in their lives. They're still reliant on those other type of people in their lives to make them, who they are. Whereas the other people aren't relying on shit. Like they're set for the whole.
True, but for what they know, as far as they all know, they're at Gilligan's Island right now. They're stuck on this island and they can't leave, and they're going to die here possibly. And like, or like maybe some of them are still in denial, but like they have to live in a society there, like a little 8-person society or whatever. And everyone seems to just kind of do it okay, which I think is also accurate. I think people would just kind of scrap together and figure it out. And like, they're not going to upturn the apple cart because they're getting fed and it's not been that bad. You hide in the shade or whatever. Like they've
the water situation's pretty bad. I mean, they don't really go into that, but there's no way that those 12 bottles of Evian and 6 cans of face spray keep them hydrated enough, to live that life. For
they ever do coconuts? I don't remember seeing coconuts, but coconut water actually.
I remember seeing coconuts.
Well, it's a good source if you're ever on an island like that. Like, that's a good source of clean water to drink is coconuts.
One guy got some wood to bring over, and they picked up the log and brought it over. That's but those were the worker people, not any of the
Yeah, see, they're doing stuff. They earned their billions because they can pick up a log.
Yeah,
that's what was missing from the movie. It was
interesting. The end was problematic, but I think you have to just say that you're okay with it, because I don't want to know what's going to happen. I really don't. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't want to know that whether or not she killed Yaya, or Yaya at the end talking about how, what, I want to bring you back with me, and I want to give you a job. You could probably be my assistant. It would be great. And I think that Abigail's like, I don't want to be your freaking assistant. I've been a captain on this island for 2 weeks. And
that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, she's not going back like that. But then I also want to see Yaya, when they get back, go back on her word and be vindictive and be like, you fucking fucked my fiance or whatever. And like, be vindictive for that. Now that the power is right back on, like, I would like to
everyone's going to go.
But no one wants to see the rich people, get their power back, because that's not what the
because what's going to happen. Everyone's going to go right back to where they were. It's not.
Yeah, but I want to see that. I want to see how nothing changes. Like, people don't like. I think that would have been a better even stronger statement of like it's a cynical, like, there's no way to change it kind of thing. Like, Woody Harrelson's drunk on the boat on his $250 million yacht because he can't. He's a bad Marxist. He can't. There's no way to be a good Marxist. It's too far gone now.
You know what we didn't compare this to, which would have been a good comparison, is Parasite.
Why
There's
Parasite?
there's some similarity because Parasite has the same sort of
The class
situation
structure.
between the haves and have-nots, and whether or not how people act according to what people are around and what they can get away with. I think there's some parallels there.
I
Parasite
think
parallels.
Well, Parasite too. Like once the family gets a taste of the power and the ability to, like,
Right.
they don't want to relinquish that kind of thing, which bolsters my argument of yes, you would once you get a taste of the power and the comfort and the things that come along with that.
Brennan,
No one would give
that's
that.
only
No one would
because
give that
that's
up.
interest. No, that's only because it's interesting for the movie. It's interesting for the story. This is a whole Hollywood fantasy, or however you want to talk about it. This is not how real life would be, because this is what Hollywood talks to you about. The same way that Hollywood presents romance, the same way it presents all these other things that don't really run parallel in our world. It's all it's it's not the same.
It's exaggerated.
It's very exaggerated.
This is less exaggerated than the menu, I will say.
Yeah, I don't know. Differently.
You see, this still doesn't feel tethered to. This feels like tethered to reality for me. Like this feels like pretty like.
This is very not realistic, Brennan. I mean, all of the stuff that's not, it's all very coincidental and very contrived. And
No, but I could
not
see
that
this.
the
I
menu
could see
wasn't.
literally this happening, whereas the menu, I couldn't literally see that happening. You could literally have a yacht shipwreck and this sort of small social development come up. It's because it's played believably. There's nothing cartoony and over the top about the third act on the island. Everything is played straight.
There's some cartoony.
There's nothing that
The
literally
donkeys
couldn't
very
happen. I
cartoony.
don't think.
Well, there's also, we didn't talk
Other
about this,
than
it's a very
other
small
than the
part.
fact that they're on the island, other than the fact they're on an island that's also a resort, like that, and no one noticed until
Right.
the one guy wandered up to the lady who can only say one sentence and was offering this, or trying to sell her sunglasses, whatever.
Yeah, that whole scene was really weird. So
It was the reveal.
that actually didn't fit for me.
It was the well, that
I
was
know
the
it was-
reveal.
I know it was the reveal, but I felt like I don't know. I felt like the hat seller guy didn't act in any way that was appropriate in how he would react. So, if you found a woman sitting in a dinghy on the beach, you wouldn't be concerned. You would just be like,
she's
"Don't
just
touch
doing-
me! Don't touch me! I'm gonna go sell it to somebody else."
She's doing weird, rich white lady shit. He doesn't know. What's he think? They're fucking doing some. He's already seen all kinds of weird rich white lady shit on that island.
Oh, I'm sure, but yeah, by now she would have been. She hadn't gotten out of that thing for 2 weeks. Things would have been really nasty in there. So
I don't know if it was. I'm sure there was. Yeah. You recommend Triangle of Sadness?
I do, because I think it's a great. It's a great ride, and it's fun to watch this kind of stuff. I liked it was a 2 hour 30-minute movie, and the pacing wasn't an issue for me ever. So
No,
that's always a big plus.
I was crazy. I watched this, Tar, and All Quiet on the Western Front all back to back just to do Oscar stuff the day of, and those are all 2.5 hour
you
movies, and those are the shortest.
Took a potty break.
Yeah, every once in a while, but those are like that was a short 7.5 hours. It's hard to say 7.5 hours of movie watching. I was like,
Yeah,
that was the all three of those movies like use their time well. I don't like long when stuff goes long for long's sake, but I didn't feel the length in this.
and it's just not because of the ending and just because of some of the things. It's not your average Hollywood fare, and it's not your average Hollywood fare, and it's not a horror movie, and it's not, Marvel. It's something different. And I appreciate that, much like Parasite, something different. And I appreciate that. So I would recommend this.
I recommend this too. I like this more than the other two. The other two Rich People Bad movies, Glass Onion and The Menu. I like this more than either of those. How would you rank those three?
I would probably
you
rank
liked
them
all
above
of
the
them,
other
right?
two as well. Yeah, I liked all of them. Glass Onion, the pacing was a huge problem for me. I was unhappy because the first Knives Out movie I thought was paced really well and the story was told in a great manner, and Glass Onion was just such a disappointment that I can't rank it. I would want to rank it above this, but I can't.
And The Menu's third.
I think The Menu's third. Just because, the more we talk about it, you're right. There's pieces of it that are not believable, but
The Menu, I think.
Movie,
actually, no. I think Glass Onion's the highest rated for critical audience wise. I think this is the lowest out of the three, which I'm surprised. This is at 72 critics, 68 audience. 68 audience, I can kind of understand because it's just not. It's one of those kind of movies, but I am shocked this is only a 7 out of 10 with critics. That doesn't. I think
the 68 audiences, people went in expecting something different.
I don't know what you know what you're getting. Yeah.
I don't know. The Menu, I expected something different as well. I knew what I was going into with Knives Out, Glass Onion, so that was not.
I didn't see any advertising for this though, as being like those, like being a satirical takedown of the wealth. Like I didn't. The other two were marketed that way.
All you had to see, though, was the movie poster, and you would know that it's a satire.
I guess.
Satire.
Well, I guess it depends on which one you would see. I would think you would think it was... I think you'd think it's like a pretentious art house movie. Which, you could say.
Maybe.
Maybe because they're comparing against Force Majeure on The Square. I haven't seen The Square, so I can't compare it against that. I
can't wait for the rhombus or the circle to come out.
It's like Florian Zeller when he made The Father and then he made The Son, and you know what's next.
Right.
You want to do The Son? I watched that on a plane recently. It's underwhelming.
Yeah, but plane movies. I just watched something on the plane too, and I think I told you that I did, and I'm thinking I don't know that I want to.
I usually like more stuff more on a plane. I think there's been a study done that you are more likely to like something on a plane than dislike it. Like you're more generous.
But that's because it's using your time. And you get to your destination quicker.
You don't always have internet up there, because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. More focused, but more likely to fall asleep. I guess the chairs are uncomfortable though.
They're not conducive for that, unless you're in business class or first class.
I don't know if I always like watching them more on a plane. I don't know. The screen's so small. Sound isn't as good.
That's a conversation to have. We can have that one day.
Triangle of Sadness. 2 recommends for Triangle of Sadness.
And also, don't have such a, relax that area between your eyes.
Yes. Back to the full circle, full triangle. Triangle Sadness. We might do a couple more 2022 movies, but I think we're mostly on to 2023 now. And there's big stuff.
There's a dearth of movies right now.
There's stuff out, like Creed 3's out, and the Shazam sequel.
Yeah.
And what else?
Some movie with Adam Driver in
65.
Is that in the past? Is it an alternate universe?
I think it's the future, but somehow in the past, kind of like Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't even know if under our new structure, other people pick stuff. I only pick 1 or 2 things a month, so we'll see what Jess and you and Nicole come back with in the next couple weeks. And listener suggestions. If a listener has a suggestion for something that we are missing off the beaten path, streaming, please, you can send that to Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook, on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, and you can email the show filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Thanks for being on for Triangle of Sadness, Mama K.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.